When you retire, you may get a chance to go to football heaven. This is football heaven.
Hey guys, welcome to The Mission. I'm your host, Jameer Howerton, and as always, we have a great show for you as we continue to celebrate the excellence of this year's class. And like I said, throughout the month of July, we're going to get to know this year's class because we're just a month away from Enshrinement Week, powered by Johnson Controls, and we have the golden opportunity of catching up with this year's presenters of members of this year's 2022 Pro Football Hall of Fame class. And joining us today here on The Mission is Mr. Titus Duren, the presenter for Richard Seymour. Welcome to The Mission, sir. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you very much for having me on board.
Oh, it's so great to have you here. And, you know, I didn't get the right number, Mr. Duren, but you are and were Richard Seymour's principal. Now, we've had wives, we've had coaches, we've had fathers, we've had sons present Hall of Famers into the hall, but and I'm gonna find out the number, but I don't think there's ever been a high school principal. And I'm not saying that you're the first, but as far as I'm concerned, since I've been here with the organization, you are the first principal. And that's huge. That's huge. We're talking high school, primary years as our Hall of Famers are growing and developing into young men. So you were actually changing boys to men. So, you know, before we dive in and learn about Richard as a young student from Lower Richland High School in South Carolina, LR, as I learned it's called.
That's right.
First and foremost, what does this honor mean to you?
It means a lot. I tell you, I've been in education a little over 50 years. I started out as a teacher and coach back in the 1970s. So, and I've had students, players go on to play in the league. I've had some, I think from as early as 1974, one of my kids played with the 49ers on a couple of Super Bowls. But Richard, when he asked me to do this, he called and asked me to do this, I was just floored. Now, he and I have we've had a strong relationship. There were times that we agreed and we disagreed, but we've been very strong. He looks at me like a father figure. And his father, who passed away, and I were good friends. We were good friends. His mother, his grandmother, we don't live far from each other, and we've always been very close. So when he asked me to do this, I could not say no. I was just, wow. I was excited and floored.
Well, I got goosebumps thinking about that. You know, what was that like, you know, stepping in and being a father figure for Richard, unfortunately, when his dad had passed, and being that mentor and making sure that he stayed on the path of straight and narrow?
Yeah, well, as a former coach and then teacher and then principal, I always saw a lot of potential in kids. And when I saw Richard from day one, when I saw that big old youngster come into school, I knew that he was something special. His uncle had graduated about 2 years before he entered ninth grade. His uncle played football, was a big guy, Eric. But when I heard about him, but when he stepped in there, my goodness, look at this kid. This is a ball player. This is a ball player. And but he had the demeanor that he never was a problem. And if you talk to him, and he'd probably say, yes, sir, I'll do it. But he was just one of those kids that you could talk to, that he did what you asked. He had a group, he had parents that were responsive, that were committed to our school, committed to our program. And we've had a relationship. I used to go up to New England and watch him play. Wow.
Wow.
When I go up there, he didn't want me to stay at a hotel. He wanted me to stay at their house. And my wife and I would go up. And I told him one day, Tanya had to run to the store. She left us there with the kids. And I said, I did babysitting for you today while your wife went to, it was a Saturday, it was for game day, he couldn't be. So yeah, we've been close. We've been like family.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You know, we talk about football, but I got to know, what kind of student was Richard in high school?
Richard was a good student. I'm not going to say he was an A student. We had to prompt him some. And then his mom and dad make sure that if I said we needed to do so and so and so, he did it. He and I have a little story because Richard was on the basketball team at high school up until his junior year. Here's a kid 6'6", about 280, and he thinks he's a basketball player. So we were getting him ready to take the SAT and qualify for scholarships. So his parents and I had a conversation. We had a tutor, one of the best SAT tutors around, that was going to work with Richard and another teammate who ended up going to Michigan. And he was going to tutor them after school. And Richard said he wanted to play basketball. And talked with mom and dad, and they said, if Mr. Duren say you're going to tutoring, you're going to tutoring. And when he kind of puffed a little bit, and one day I was at his house in Boston, and he looked at me and he said, you know, I used to be mad with you because you wouldn't let me play basketball my senior year. But now, when I got this big contract, he said, I ain't mad at you no more.
He's not mad no more.
He's not mad anymore. And that's the kind of relationship we have. I just, you know, Richard's a fine young man. You talk to him, but I saw potential in him. Like I said, his uncle had been there, was a great player. And I think Richard entered in the fall of '94 and graduated in '97 from Lower Richland. And he was just fine. Now, he had some teammates that were outstanding athletes also that went on to college. One of them played in the league about 13, 14 years.
Wow.
But he was a good kid. All of them.
There's something in the water. There's definitely something in the water in Lower Richmond, man. I mean, you know, Richland, and you know, I heard about the basketball program, but in comparison to the football program, because I hear, like, I learned that you go to LR for basketball, but you don't necessarily play football. But how was your football program?
A football pro. We played we played for a couple of state championships.
Okay.
In the big division. And Richard's senior year, I remember we went to the third round, and I felt that it was a bad call that they spotted the first down on fourth down about a foot short, and we all were jumping up. Richard played both ways, and Richard, they ran the ball behind him, and they said first down, but the official said no, they were short a foot. And but yeah, we did well. They the kids played well. Now we had some outstanding basketball, and we had some players who went a long way, a lot of college players. But our school is in a community. We're right out of Columbia, and we serve Hopkins, Eastover, Gas, rural kids. And we had about, I guess when Richard was there, we had about 1,600 students, and they come together, and you could pull a pretty good team. We had big kids, small kids, and they did well in both sports. Track, we won state championship. Girls and boys, girls basketball. You know, we were known for more than just a big homecoming.
Wow. So is it safe to say that there's going to be a Richard Seymour Day at Lower Richmond Richland that you guys are kind of working on as far as concerned?
We've had some Richard Seymour days.
Okay.
I think when you see the video, you'll see the contributions that he's made to the school and the community. His name is up on the side of the building.
Wow.
The Richard Seymour Athletic Training Facility.
Okay.
And they've got shots for you for that. When you go in the arena lobby, the basketball arena lobby, there's a sign up there, a bronze plaque that said Richard Seymour Athletic Training Facility. He's done a lot for us, and we've recognized him, and I know we will always continue to recognize his golden football from the Super Bowl, from one of them.
Okay.
Is in the case.
It's in the case. Okay. That was my next question. That was a great segue, and I can only imagine, but on behalf of the LR community, how proud is this community of Richard? And what does it say to the community to say that a Pro Football Hall of Famer came from this community?
It means a lot. There's been a big buzz around the community and in Columbia about him making the Pro Football Hall of Fame, on this ballot, as young as he is. Now, he's been the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame, and he was a professional athlete of the year one year for the South Carolina coaches, their Hall of Fame. So, but this is the biggie. Yeah. This is the biggie. This is the NFL now. I think last year Donna Shell got in, or the year before, or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's an area guy, not Lower Richland, but a South Carolina boy.
Wow.
Around Columbia, and we're real proud that we got Richard in now.
That's amazing. I have to ask you, being a former coach and coming here to Canton, Ohio, and in the beginning of our tape, Marshall Falk says how this is football heaven. With that being said, what are you looking most for when you come here to Canton, Ohio during enshrinement weekend?
Well, I have to admit, my wife is from Ohio.
Oh, okay.
And from Toledo. And when we would drive up from South Carolina to visit, a couple of times coming back, on a Sunday, we could see, I guess it was the ceremony, the stadium's right by the road.
That's right.
I-77. And we looked over there and a couple of times, I said, they're probably doing the Hall of Fame. And one day I want to see that. And now that's coming to fruition.
Wow, that's amazing. You're driving home and you're saying one day I want to see it. And not only are you going to see it, but you're going to be in the ceremony. Do you get goosebumps sometimes thinking about it?
Well, yeah. After he told me, and I had a conversation with his mother, and I told her I was thankful that she said that she and Richard had talked about it, and since his father was deceased and his uncle who was a big influence, had passed, she said they said, you're the person that we're going to get, because you know him.
I'm getting choked up thinking about that, man. I can only imagine there wasn't a dry eye on that call, or if he told you face to face. That's powerful. That's really powerful. That speaks to the character and the man who I'm blessed to speak to today, but more importantly, the impact that you had on Richard. You had on Richard. That's amazing, sir. That's amazing. Wow. I need a moment, man. Woo. I know you're proud.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this, Richard, and I was telling you the story about the SAT thing. Mm-hmm. The other young man that went with him, and he, Goodwin, his buddy Jonathan, and who ended up going to Michigan, playing at Michigan. I think he played 12 or 13 years with a couple of teams in the league. You know, they always were good guys who listened, and you knew that they would do well. They were a group of kids that were like that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. So currently today, what does Mr. Titus Duren have going on besides getting ready to present?
Well, technically, like I said, I started teaching, coaching in 1971, and I worked in the building for years, and then I did some district office and office work with the school district. But since the pandemic, last year I only did a little part-time, but this year was the first year, 2021, fall of 21, that I had not been in a school building. Wow. Except to visit or to say hello. So I had done 50 years of working. And one of the things that I've been at Lower Richland last week, this Monday, filming it. I was there. It kind of got me back in there, getting back in the swing. And I don't know, for the principal, she was one of my students back when she was a student. Wow. And I'm calling her and saying, I need to come out to the building for so-and-so. And there's so many people that work there that were former students. You know, it's almost like, you coming back home? And I said, no, I'm just here to do this. And that's it. Y'all run the place. You got it now. You got it. So I'm 70-something years old. So no, I can't do that anymore.
But Mr. Duren, your presence is a present. You know, your presence is a present, man. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time and just sharing some rich stories about Richard Seymour, and we can't wait to honor you and Richard.
I do want to share one thing.
Oh, come on, share it.
I promise his mom.
Share it.
I promise his mom. Richard has done some things giving back to the community.
Okay.
And he used to do, and I asked her, did she have any, he would give book bags of school supplies to the kids at the beginning of the school year. He had a book bag with pencils and paper. Christmas, he would give away bicycles to kids. And I told her, I said, when they came, and I think they filmed at her house last week, make sure you show them some of the things that, if you got any of those souvenirs of what he's done in the community to help the kids and the people, please show that, because I can think of the things that he's done, but it's something to show it. And like I said, your film crew did a great job of taking pictures of it. But I want to relate one story. When Richard was in high school, Richard's father was a bricklayer, and he did. So we wanted dugouts for the softball team. Okay. You know, concrete. Yeah. So he said, I'll build them for you for softball, not baseball. And when I went out there that Saturday, he was out there putting the blocks down, and he had Richard moving the concrete blocks and bringing the mortar and everything. And I said, and it was the spring, because he was on the verge of signing with Georgia. And I said, he's about to go to college. He said, Daddy had him out there working, helping it, and those dugouts. I looked at them when I was at school Monday, and they freshly painted it. I told the camera guys, I said, please take a shot of those softball dugouts over there, because I saw Richard Seymour put his hand in the building those things with his father. And that's great. That was some years ago. That's great. That's great. I love that. It don't matter where you go to college. You got work to do today. Daddy said he had something to do today. He had to do it. Thank you. It was truly a pleasure to do this, and I look forward to seeing you up in Canton and meeting you in person, and where I used to drive by and look. I feel privileged that I can come and and walk on that grass and be a part of the ceremony.
Well, we can't wait to see you walk across that stage and unveil that bus alongside Richard Seymour. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Titus Duren joined us right here on The Mission.
Thank you,
sir. Thank you.